Okay, I wanted to just make a quick video for our superintendent stuff. I know we spend a lot of time getting through some of our board agendas, so I thought this might be an easier way just to kind of give you guys an idea of standards 3 and standards 4 without having to take a lot of time at the board meeting, because I know we want to do a walkthrough this week. One of the things I wanted to share with you is that attached is a slideshow, and you can kind of go through that at your own pace. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me about stuff on there. The other thing that we can go over is the evaluation tool, which I will have printed out for you guys at the meeting. And then I will print those out again at the end, because I know sometimes, as time goes by, it gets a little bit harder to do that. But standard 3, equity and cultural responsiveness. This is kind of funny. As I was kind of going through my presentation tonight, I was reflecting on some conversations I've had with teachers, and we do a lot of mentorship within our district to try to train people so that they are ready to take over positions, and that we just have people prepared. Some of the best things we have done in this district is promoting a lot of our paraprofessionals that want to go back to school. Promoting people who want to go into special education. In fact, I think we have more special education teachers on staff than probably most districts could dream of having. But also training people in administration, which we have quite a few working on this year as well. And just getting that time in the classroom, the mentoring portion of it, but also the modeling part of it. And so part of being a strong school is taking the time to, have those relationships with staff and promote them. We even have somebody in-house that is going back for a speech degree, which is desperately needed. It's hard to find speech pathologists, even when we partner with other people. But one of the things I think our school system does really well is this cultural responsiveness and equity, and just trying to give every student a fighting chance, which is going to look different from student to student. I think we do a really good job of honoring who we are as a Troy community, but also part of that is those relationships that we have with parents and students, and making sure that every individual student gets what they need as much as possible, but also, having those boundaries as far as handbooks and, discipline and things like that, where we're towing the line and making sure things are fair in that sense as well. So within this, some of the things we've worked really hard on the last year is our Indian Ed for All curriculum. This is part of our accreditation, but it is something that teachers worked really hard on. We had training for this. We will continue to have training for this. The state has made this a huge part of our general fund. There is an Indian Ed fund inside of the general fund, and those have to be accounted for by the end of the year. So one of the things we have thrown around doing this year is we do a fairy tale day, which has become part of our culture, but also doing an Indian Ed for All day, where we're doing some books and stations and actively teaching students some of those things. One of the things that we have also gone over, which is, I think, really important in this district too, is our teacher evaluation tool. I really like that we are getting into classrooms monthly. I think it allows us to help support those teachers, because I think when we talk about supporting kids, we also have to be aware of what is going on inside of each classroom, and being able to support those teachers through mentoring, coaching, offering additional supports, tools, things like that. It's an ever-growing, ever-changing process. One of the things somebody asked me was, how do we think the superintendent job has changed so much over the last even decade? Somebody said, superintendents used to be able to be in separate buildings and just work on policy and finance. I can't even imagine having a single day to just sit and lock myself in a room, because I think part of being a superintendent is being part of the team and being, the person who knows what is going on inside the classroom and can speak to that. I like to be the person when they call, I can say, nope, I was in that classroom, this is what's going on, or yeah, I know who your kid eats lunch with. Just trying to be around and be visible, but also supporting those teachers so that they can be the best possible teachers for those students, and giving them what they need. Again, we've talked about this in the past, but academics, some of the things that are changing throughout the state. We have a new state assessment. It's called the MAST. That is up and going. We will start that on October 15th. They are small windows, but there's 3 of them. They're 6 weeks long. Teachers have to give 4 assessments within those windows. It is going to be a lot of work for us to get that one up and going. On top of, our teachers switched to a new assessment tool. We're using AimsWeb, which is a fabulous tool. And so we're doing that for math and reading for our benchmarks. And then Hannah and our title team also do the core phonics survey at the elementary school. The kids need that. But I think one of the things our school does well is just team meetings, but also meetings with parents and inviting them to the table and just saying, hey, we need your help. Attendance still being one of those really big issues that are out there. And I think it's something we're going to see increase. We do offer incentives for that, but attendance is really, really hard because we know if kids are here, they will learn and retain more and perform better. It's like a snowball effect. You miss a few days and then you have work to catch up on. It can be overwhelming for kids. We do offer after school tutoring. And I wish more kids would take advantage of that. However, our ASP program, which has become a huge part of our culture, and that started back with Diana's principal, that has just grown. We have over 60 kids someday. And we're doing our elementary sports through ASP, which has been successful. Football, that was a big behavioral promotion for a lot of our kids. They know they can't come to ASP unless they are here and doing well. And so we have found with sports, that is a big hook for these kids. Some of the things that, curriculum, we're working on that. This year's focus is our VOTEC, which is also a big part of our community culture. We know that a lot of our kids are going into trades, career paths, going to technical schools. We've got a lot of people going into the medical field. Last year, we had a lot of people going into the military, which is probably the highest group, the biggest group we've seen go into the military in quite a few years. But also the idea of going into trades and even helping some of our students just find jobs for after they graduate. And so that has been a big focus and will continue to be. We've got a MIDS terminology class. Christine is doing a textiles class this year with entrepreneurship. So just, keeping the pulse on what the community wants and how to prepare kids for post-secondary opportunities, because we know that college is an option, but for some of our kids, the trades occupations are going to also be big. So we are starting that curriculum team meeting with those teachers. We start, I believe, on the 22nd, and we will work on kind of our scheduling and our career options for students going forward. We're also constantly looking at professional development and what our teachers need to be successful and what they think will be helpful. We've done a lot of stuff in the last couple of years on trauma-informed instruction, behavior. We're seeing a lot of kids come to school that need that extra behavioral support. So just learning easy things that teachers can do to get kids to focus and be successful in the classroom. Even as simple as breathing techniques, which I walked around. We had a presenter from the book Fostering Resilient Learners. Kristen came and did a presentation. She was fabulous, but even taking time, hey class, let's breathe together. In, out, reset. And so even I think as adults, I've walked around the building and you can find us sometimes deep breath in, deep breath out. And our teachers do a lot. Somebody the other day was asking for volunteers, and I thought, well, our teachers are also our coaches. They're also running our after school programs. They're running our clubs. They're volunteering. Homecoming week. I mean, I can't tell you how many teachers stayed after and gave time just to help out with the games to make them successful. We've got people helping with athletics, just line judges, cash boxes. I mean, our employees are putting in sometimes 14, 15-hour days because they love the kids and they're part of this community that we have. So any way we can support teachers, again, is really important because they're giving up a lot of their time. And then just, parental involvement. It's something we're always looking to do. New ideas. We're trying something new for parent-teacher conferences this year. We're doing whole class conferences. Teachers come in, the teacher Elementary teachers are going to give like a 30-minute presentation on classroom norms, on data, how to read their child's data. And that's in preparation for having individual parent-teacher conferences, which will be a little bit later. But we're always trying to do new things that would make people comfortable to come into the building and work with us. I will tell you, I've had a lot of luck with individual, like having one parent come in and meet with several teachers, especially at the junior high level. How can we help? What can we do to get back on track? But cultural responsiveness and curriculum kind of go hand in hand. You have to know your community to know what your kids need and what direction we're moving towards in the future. And so I think a lot of that is we do a good job of working with kids and families, but also our staff does a good job of working with each other and helping each other to be the best possible people and go back to school. We have a lot of teachers going back to school, which is very impressive. So if you have any questions about any of these standards, we're doing a lot of hard work, but some of the changes we've made are very positive, especially with administration being in classrooms once a month. And I think sometimes teachers are their own worst critics. So anytime we can uplift teachers, because there's a lot of good stuff going on in those classrooms, is perfect. So you have those forms. I'll put them in a folder for you guys. They're already printed out for the meeting, but if you have any questions about this, just let me know.